A change in fortunes then for Peshawar Zalmi as they finally register their first win of this tournament, and a running catch by Abdul Samad, the man of the moment. What a catch it was, running in from deep mid-wicket and sealing it really for Peshawar Zalmi. Jubilation all round for their side. They needed this win badly, and Babar Azam's smile tells you the story. Tells you what it meant for him, tells you what it meant for the team. Overall, a fantastic win for Peshawar Zalmi. Hello and welcome to Pitchside. Like I said, great win for Peshawar Zalmi. A much needed win, so to speak, because they had been on a losing streak. Some key performances by Abdul Samad, runs at the top by Kohler-Cadmore, and then a fine bowling performance by Ali Raza, Yaqub and the rest of them. With me on Pitchside, I've got the usual Dominic Cork alongside Kohler-Cadmore. TKC, a huge congratulations because Peshawar Zalmi really needed this win. Tell us your thoughts initially, obviously, in terms of the fact that when you're losing and you finally break that pattern and come out to win the way you did, I'm sure you must be really relieved yourself and as a side.
Yeah, absolutely. It felt fun again. I think the last couple of games we played, it was very one-sided, so it was a very kind of miserable place after the game, because everyone knows we can do a lot better. So to actually go out there today and put a performance in, I think everyone had a smile on their face pretty much for most of the innings. Maybe not at the start, but we got it kind of back, and then we were able to kind of enjoy cricket again, which was really nice.
5 for 2, pressure's on. You and obviously Harris didn't look like. Well, what is the game plan for you there? Is it just keep attacking because you're in the Pepsi power play?
No, I think it's just see it as it comes. Harris is such an amazing talent that he just comes out and his strike rate's just incredible from ball one, hits it in weird places, can smack it straight, can flick it over, like he can do everything with it. So for me it's kind of sit back and then just watch him for a little bit, and then when he changes the momentum it then means that we're on top, which then means I can up my gears and then kind of play around him a little bit more. But yeah, I think here, because the boundaries are small and you've got to kind of keep putting pressure on, because you know you roughly need 200 here anyway, otherwise you're probably below par.
Also, in terms of match strategy, I mean, Babar Azam spoke about this in the post-match interview, that they made a couple of changes, brought in Yaqub. So just getting that combination right, how important is that?
Yeah, it's kind of, you don't want to peak too early in these tournaments. You want to be like, you're always kind of constantly changing, trying to find your 11. And we've changed our batting order like every game so far. We've kind of floated. I've gone 3, 4 and 5 in 3 games. Harris has batted 3 and 4 as well. Mitch has gone up and down. So I think it's just trying to find the right combination of our side, the right bowlers that we need on certain conditions, and like obviously today it's clicked for us.
And also when you're losing and you're trying to break that pattern, as I mentioned, what's been the team talk? Because the role of the leader in the form of Babar Azam comes to play. Also your think tank, you've got some legends like Mushtaq Ahmed and Zamamul Haq, they're all there. I mean, what's the message been like? How do you turn it around?
It's honestly been the most chilled kind of environment I've been in from the way we've played. Kind of, if you come into our training sessions, you'd have thought we'd have won both games comfortably. So I think for all the coaching staff, and Babar especially, has kind of led from the front, and he's actually stayed really chilled, really calm. He's not panicking. There's no kind of stress in the camp. And I think that's like the amazing thing about kind of the strength of Zalmi, is we know historically we've always made it out the group. And we go back to that as a confidence within the group that we are going to get it right. We look down, we've got Saim, Babar, like Harris, Mitch, like the whole 11 is stacked, especially with the batting, that we know we are going to perform. So yeah, for us it's kind of trusting that it will come.
I want to get into your mindset. I've just talked about 5 for 2. And a little coaching tip for every young boy or girl out there. What are you looking for? What are your triggers? We watched you throughout franchise cricket. I watch you a lot in England. What are you looking for? What do you want to be able to hit it out the ground?
I still back my strengths, so it's trusting my process, that if they bowl me a delivery that is in my zone, then I'm going to back myself to hit it for 6, because I know, or 4. But if it's not there, it's not taking the risk. So it kind of, I've started moving around a little bit more to try and create angles a little bit better for the seamers, especially, that I've not got to kind of take a really high risk option. I feel like I've got more boundary options now, laying it off through point, or kind of they come a bit too straight and being able to get it behind square leg and fine leg. So for me it's trying to minimise risk and maximise your reward. And I think that kind of comes with playing a lot more and wanting to be the leader in the team and being able to kind of put performances in.
Absolutely. We're talking about your innings and how crucial it was. Remember, they were 5 for 2 at one point, and then Mohammad Haris and TKC turned things around. Let's have a quick look at the sixes scored by TKC today, and Dominic Cork will talk us through it.
Well, he's just told you what his triggers were and what he's looking for. When you watch somebody like Kohler-Cadmore, if you get too close to those stumps and get too close, he wants to go leg side. He's a powerful player. He's not frightened of sweeping either for big boundaries. And what I like about Kohler-Cadmore, whatever situation he finds himself in, he backs himself, and none of these boundaries are big enough.
Well, what was big enough today was the crowd and the support for Peshawar Zalmi. I mean, it was very much one-sided. Did you enjoy batting out there?
Yeah, I loved it. The support we get all the time is amazing, to be fair. Even on our bad games, we actually don't get too much abuse, which is really nice. It's always kind of love from over here, and I think the fan base that we've got is amazing. And just to hear them and to be able to put a show on for them tonight was just like, it was really special, and you could see how much it meant to them as well.
Obviously, captain isn't doing as well as we've seen him. I'm sure he's working hard. Is it a worry for him, or does he just carry on? He seems to have a smile on his face. I
think no matter what position you're in as a batter yourself, you always want to score runs. So if you spoke to me 2 days ago before this knock, I'd have been a little bit thinking, oh, I'd like to score some more runs. So, but I think if you look at his dismissals, he's actually been so unlucky. Like today, if I can guarantee if he scored 100 last game, that LBW decision today is given not out, they review it and it's umpire's call. I think it's just one of those periods in cricket where he's having a little bit of a tough time. He'll go out next game and he'll hit 2 nice cover drives for 4, and then he'll be back and he'll score 100, and everyone will go, ah, there's no issues. So for me, he's such a class player, and I know for a fact he's going to come good, and everyone in the change room believes in him. He believes in himself, so for us it's just, we're really excited for when it comes good.
What about the youngsters then? Somebody like Ali Raza, you know, 16, 17 years of age, didn't have a good game, the previous one, but today he really came out and was able to show his talent, you know. Just looking at somebody like that, it must be pleasing for you and for the team as well to see the youngsters come forward and really perform.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's not nice facing him in the nets. But yeah, like, I think that's the beauty of youth. Obviously, he has a bad game, but you forget about it so quickly and you can come and perform the next game. You've not got any hangovers. You're very quick to kind of be able to deliver your skill. And I think Babar with him today was amazing. He helped him to bowl where he wanted him to bowl and kind of actually pushed him through into, like, we had the plans and he helped him stick to the plans. And I think that's kind of the key over here, is to be able to, you're going to get hit for boundaries, but actually to plan where you're happy for the boundaries to go makes a big difference instead of sorry,
that was landed straight on my nose.
Yeah,
you can't miss that nose, but yeah, that's what made you laugh.
Yeah, but to kind of keep him evolving and keep him understanding, and today he looked too fast, and it was so exciting to watch.
I know we probably should be letting you go, but you finally get the win here. You get runs on this wicket. You're now moving, is it to Karachi next? Is that something as a team you'd rather stay here now you've got the win, or is it just that's part and parcel as a batter, you just adapt to the different conditions at the National Stadium?
Yeah, I think it's just adapting. Obviously we know we come back here as well, so that's a big advantage. So towards the back end of the tournament we'll be back here, and hopefully kind of now it's momentum, kind of we can roll with it and get a couple more wins quickly.
Well, we'd hope that you can carry on the momentum, but we're going to let you go now. Thank you so much for your thoughts.
Thank you.
And really well done, well done to Peshawar Zalmi as well. Like I said, a much-needed win for them. They're going to be a relieved camp overall. On that note, we'll take a short breather and we'll be back with much more on the match, so don't go anywhere. stellar win then by Peshawar Zalmi, much needed by the camp, and jubilation all round, especially Babar Azam. You could tell what it means to him. I've now been joined by Ramiz Raja in the studio. Ramiz,
hello.
Great win for Peshawar Zalmi. You know, they'd been on a losing streak, and then today they showed a lot of character.
Yeah, they needed this win because they played flawless cricket, by the way, after being 2 down for 5 to get to over 200 was really impressive. And there was this self-belief also. And I think Haris means a great deal to them in the middle phase of the innings because he's a go-getter. You know, he can take the game away from you. Only if you're a speed breaker fitted in the brain. Because I feel, you know, at times he just carries on at his own pace, momentum, without realizing what the team needs. So if he can read the situation a bit better, I think he'll be a match winner on any surface because he's got loads of talent.
Absolutely. I mean, he has that ability, you know, you spoke about that, to change the momentum. We saw that with the first shot that he hit when he was facing the bowler.
First ball 6.
The first ball 6, exactly. Yeah. So how important is that to sort of really set the momentum right from the start, attacking the bowler and dominating them?
Well, that's the modern way of dealing with a tough situation. 2 wickets down for 5, you've lost your 2 assets, and certainly there's this counter attack, which was brilliant because they could have absolutely died down as a unit and been a little bit cautious and lost momentum as a result and all that kind of stuff. But it didn't happen because Haris was there, and importantly, he had got a great 80 in the previous game. Yeah. So he's feeling good, he was on form, and he just took the right step. I think the aggression was the key.
The one thing I wanted to pick up was that total of the game before. I think maybe in the first game when they lost. And I thought that's quite an important innings, even on the back of a loss, because, look, we've got to be honest, Saim Ayub and Babar Azam will get runs. They will get runs at some stage. They're too good a players not to get runs, and it will happen. And Tom Kohler-Cadmore said exactly the same about Babar. So to the fact that he got in nick straight away, if they lose early wickets, you've still got Kohler-Cadmore, you've still got Harris, you've still got Mitchell Owen. So actually, they're not actually in a bad situation at the moment because their 2 assets, as you call them, are yet to fire. And when they do fire, wow, they're going to get big scores.
Well, you're talking about this top order and this middle order. They've also got a player in the form of Abdul Samad who's really come forward and shown what he's all about. We've seen him score runs in domestic, and today his innings was perhaps the turning point of the game. He's also our player of the match.
I mean, you know, I was waiting for someone really to erupt, and the batting talent that we have seen so far in HBL PSL has been mediocre. I mean, and here's this guy who came in and played wonderfully well. I mean, look at the angles, the straight 6, the square leg shot. He played the bouncer well, then the flick away towards square leg, and so he had all the angles covered. And I think the pace that he set was outstanding, and Owen was in company, and he was outstanding as well.
I mean, somebody to back his performance from domestic. There was so much spoken about him. You know, he scored in the Champions Cup and then given an opportunity in the PSL. It's such an important innings in the sense that when you're playing in the PSL, you're also eventually aiming for that national spot, national team spot. So great on him, and, you know, augurs well for his future.
Look, I think all cricketers have to do those stepping stones. Ramiz and myself would have done it from league level up to in England county level or national level in the cup, and then into, you know, PSL, then into obviously the international stage. That's what you want to do. You want to play at the highest stage you can. Pakistan is there, but I also look at franchise cricket now and think, nail yourself in that franchise. Make sure that when that Zalmi side is picked again, Abdul Samad is not going to not play. He's your first pick, because, and that's what you do as a player. You make sure that that captain and that coach never leave you out again. So when you get the opportunity to do well, Mohammed Harris, Tom Kohler-Cadmore, you know, Abdul Samad, all the players come in, nail your position, do well in the HBL PSL, and then see if there was a selector here tonight at one end. As in the umpire. So pick me in the future for Pakistan.
You know, the other thing is that your temperament is tested because it's a house full.
Yeah.
And we look for players who have got ticker, big heart, you know, can perform under pressure in front of a full house. And I think that's, you know, another way that he scored a lot of points. Full house, he batted brilliantly, and he wasn't afraid of showcasing his entire range and talent.
Can I just pick up about the crowd here? Because I honestly, I've been here a few times now. They should be really delighted, Pindi, because they have put on a show every single game here, full house. Yeah. I know obviously Babar Azam's here and he's obviously an icon, but even when Babar Azam's not here, they have turned up day in, day out. Weather is not good sometimes, they've turned up brilliant from them, and hopefully you see more towards the end.
Absolutely. We had a hailstorm the other day, but even after that, once it settled, we had crowd in here. So kudos to the Pindi crowd for coming in great numbers. We're talking about Abdul Samad and his batting, but his fielding was also outstanding, because that catch that he took in the end is perhaps one of the best catches that we've seen so far in the HBL PSL. Time to look at the safe hands.
I like the commitment, because 8 wickets or 9 wickets had gone down, and look at the commitment, running full length, diving full length and picking it inches off the ground. You want to be a hero as a fielder, you know, you want those catches or such catches, because then you get the highlights, and it turned out to be a great effort, and he must have called as well, because earlier we saw 3 fielders converging on a catch and missing the plot. This time he was crystal clear that it's mine, I'm going to go for it. And Corky, we know, diving forward.
Never easy.
Never easy.
Eyes level, get your elbows up, take the dive and enjoy the celebrations. Great to see smiles on their faces.
Well, I was just coming to that, Koki, because you just mentioned how hard it is. How hard is it actually to be fielding out in the deep and taking such catches under lights?
Yeah, and also I'm not sure, these lights just seem a little bit lower, and I don't know whether that is right. They just seem a little bit lower. So when they're lower, you're trying to get the trajectory of the ball. You're trying to judge how it's coming, if it's coming flat or if it's coming high at you, trying to get your hands up high. That's a little tip for any boy or girl out there. Try and get your hands above your eye level and then watch it come in. It's never easy. Ramiz, we've both been in that situation. You go up there and you think you're confident, and all of a sudden it's hit you in the chest, it's gone down.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I played cricket when there were no lights. So.
You did well then.
You also took that running catch in the World Cup, the 92 World Cup final.
So that was under lights, yeah, you're right. Yeah. So, I mean, every catch has its own pressure, and you want to maintain your reputation also, because it's ego thing also. I mean, it's a team sport, yet it's an individual sport as well. And so you want to prove a point in front of a full house. You can't drop a dolly. And so there's extra bit of pressure as a result, I guess. But he's right, these lights are low.
Thoughts on Ali Raza?
Oh, magnificent talent. 17-year-old. I just want him to maintain a bit of fitness. And I think Zalmi will have to protect him. Maybe not play him in every match.
100%.
Give him a bit of a rest, a breather after every couple of matches. He needs a lot of cricket. But he puts a lot of stress on his back, on his body, and that body is still work in progress. So you've got to make sure that you look after him.
He's a commodity. He's something that not just Pakistan cricket want, world cricket needs fast bowling. And that's what it's all about. Think about the era that we played in, the Marshalls, the Akrams, the Yunuses. Now you've got the likes of Mark Wood, you've got Jofra Archer, you've got pace bowlers there up there, Shaheen Shah Afridis. He can be that. He needs to be wrapped in cotton wool, looked after, helped with fitness, helped with fielding as well, because it's not just about bowling. He needs to make sure that he works on it. But we said at the beginning of the show, we were on, remember when we first started, we were looking out for young players and who was going to, he's up there. With that performance, he could be the young player.
I like that line, wrapped in cotton wool, because that's exactly what he needs.
And eat well. I think that's another thing. Diet is going to be critical. If you want to bowl fast, you've got to eat well.
Absolutely. Needs to be looked after. That's one thing that is there for sure. And, you know, Ramiz spoke about workload management. That's also going to be key going into his future. But overall, a talent to look out for. Take a short break. Catch you on the other side. On pitchside then with Lisa Staleka, who joins us on pitchside alongside Ramiz Raja. Lisa, spoke about Peshawar Zalmi, how good they've been. Where did Multan Sultans go wrong?
Yeah, it's a hard one. You probably
need half an hour extra program on this.
And we don't all need to do that. We all need to go to bed. But I certainly think it's that back end again from a bowling point of view. As soon as you're starting to leak 80-odd runs in the last 5 overs and the score goes above that 210, 215, boy, it's too much work for their batters.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And nothing to take back to the dugout also. I mean, you want some good reference. Like, you know, we picked up 3 wickets in the last 2 overs and we looked a little sharp. So maybe, you know, with the bat also we need to attack and all that kind of stuff. But there was no reference point for Multan Sultans.
There was so much talk before the match about, you know, where you should be bowling as a spinner, what pace you should be bowling at, what length you should be bowling at. I mean, Multan missed the trick clearly.
Yeah, and having spoken to the bowling coaches, they said that they felt like they just mis-executed. The plans were right, but they're just not executing the right line and length. I thought the spinners did a great job in the middle part, but then it's that back end. So the fast bowlers, where are they going? Are they trying to hide the ball near the wide line? But they kept kind of putting it up at its step hit length or going short, and it was just too easy for batters that were set and enjoying the batting conditions.
But also I think they went horribly wrong with the bat also. I mean, you know, the first part was horribly done, but what about that run chase? I mean, it didn't have any strength, any form or shape, any planning, execution. You talked about bowling not well executed, but what about the batting plans? Where did they go? I mean, it doesn't mean that you fold up and go home without putting up a fight. 200 in this day and age is a doable job on any surface.
Especially this surface.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
It's not the hardest surface to bat on. But with regards to Peshawar Zalmi, you know, they really set the tone at the top. That top order, obviously, they were 5 for 2. But then Mohammad Haris, you know, he really sort of set the tone with that shot, which is also our turning point of the game.
Well, can you believe that this is the first delivery that he faced? And with 2 wickets back in the dugout, he decides to go, okay, I'm just going to charge. Because I am in that kind of form. I know exactly where he's going to bowl, and I'm going to make sure that I counter punch.
Well, Ramiz made that good point about that abject surrender that we saw from Multan Sultans, because in response to that 200, didn't really seem that there was a plan, or if there was one, there was no execution. So time to have a look at the fall of wickets by Multan Sultans.
Well, basically, you needed the openers to be able to kind of score and get 10 to 15 in the first few overs just to get everyone going. When they tried to do that, but one thing that Zalmi did was they learnt from Sultans in the sense of the spinners, took pace off, and then Ali Raza, his extra pace, that 140 clicks, just made it hard because it didn't allow them to really get under it. That was a great catch. You don't expect that as a fast bowler, but when the ball comes back at you, you're still trying to search what it is. The very next delivery, he gets Ashton Turner, who was making his debut for the PSL. And then Iftikhar, they are trying to go big, so they just found a way. And once the 5 wickets were gone, they just folded very quickly because they were searching for the boundaries. But you've also got to understand you can actually place balls into gaps. But the pitch provided enough from a spinning point of view, and the leg spinner was excellent as well because he was able to get some real purchase on the ball. David really not very happy with that, and these are really just the last few wickets with the tail end that's trying to see if they can find the boundary.
Well, sometimes a simple change in your team can make a difference. So Arif Yaqub came in today, and you know, Lisa was mentioning the fact that the spinner made a real difference, and that's what we saw from him, Ramiz.
Yeah, I mean, leg spinner is always a welcome change because they generally are very good against the tail-enders, their wicket-taking options. You got to have a good captain to monitor them or to captain them, because they can be frivolous, they can go for runs, you know, they can be frustrating. But overall, he spun the ball and bowled much better than Osama Mir, for example. Osama Mir went for over 50 because he was smoked over mid-wicket and square leg, and then he decided to bowl shorter, and he was hammered straight by Irwin, especially. So here was Yaqub, who did the basics well, you know, flighted the ball, maintained a good driving length for the batsman really to then deal with it. And he spun the ball beautifully.
But they're two very different leg spinners, aren't they? Osama Mir comes very high and he gets more top spin. He's not known for his side spin, so there can be times when that's effective, but it wasn't effective on this pitch. That side spin is really important because it takes the ball away from the middle of the bat, basically.
Well, Zalmi's got going, which is great news for them, Ramiz, but the cherry on top would be if Babar Azam also manages to get some runs, because he's got some fan following. We all know about that. A concern at all for them, or, you know, just back somebody like him to get through?
There's no flow. I mean, I want to see a bit of rhythm, bit of flow, bit of, I mean, a lot of better body language. And I think this captaincy and this win may just help him to develop a bit of batting theme. I think the crowds have been very generous, by the way, because they've backed him to the hilt. Every time he walks in there's Babar, Babar chant, which is great. He gets a battering on social media also, and that could be hurting him, because even when he scores a 50 or a 100, it's considered as a slow 50 or a slow 100, and he's painted as selfish and all that kind of stuff, which is really unreasonable attack on him. But all he has to do is to not worry about getting out. You know, when you're out of form, I think it is important that you only look at the ball and befriend that ball, and play the angles and not be worried about beginning well. You know, in the last 3 innings, it appears as if he is only concerned to get off the mark, look to score the singles, and he misses the plot because then he gets out. So I think he needs to have that energy like Mohammad Haris, for example, who took a lot of risk. And when it comes off, I think this is a pitch where he could have done that also.
I want to just throw something in there, and it might be a little bit controversial, but I actually think it might break the shackles for him to come out there, and the expectation is to go really hard. And when you're a little bit down in confidence, that's a big ask because the ball is moving around. I know it doesn't swing for a long period of time, but you have to take some risks. You have to be a little bit fearless to be able to be successful in the power play. I would love to see him just drop down maybe 3 or 4. Let someone else, I don't know, can Mohammad Haris
you see, my problem, Lisa, with that strategy is that it serves him so well with the field in. Because he's your original kind of an opener. He's not your typical T20 opener.
But the game's changed.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But you see, I think his chances improve if he opens. I still feel that he should be given another 2 gigs as an opener, and then he can maybe come in the middle order. You see, the problem is he doesn't sweep. He's not a great beginner against spin. So he's got his limitations in the middle order as well.
I mean, I think that's the real sort of debate. How do you look at him approaching his innings now? Because, you know, there's Ramiz who's talking about the fact that you can really take charge and do a Mohammad Haris and go after the bowlers. And then there's that other approach, which is like, take your time in, get your eye in, you know, let's just spend time at the crease. I mean, what is the right way when you're down in confidence?
I think you need a little bit of luck. So when you decide to go hard and there's a nick or a miss hit, that it evades the fielders somehow. I think when you're down in confidence, you need something to go your way. Yeah,
the other thing is that Saim Ayub is out of touch as well, because he could have taken a lot of pressure off Babar Azam. You see, now he's struggling because he's making a comeback after injury. So that was expected. You know, the flow is missing. He's not timing the ball that well. And so the pressure is on Babar Azam and on Saim Ayub. So they're looking after each other, and both are a bit circumspect and a little nervous getting off.
But like you rightly pointed out, maybe this win might just help Babar get the runs as well. A bit of pressure off, and we know what a talented player he is. Time to take a short break, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Not many positives overall for Multan Sultans when you look at the way they played today. But of course, their captain slog sweeping is something which is always a refreshing moment. Time to have a look.
Yeah, I mean, this is brilliant. I mean, the bat speed and the conviction, and he's got this great ability and self-belief that it's going to go for 6. And that is such a good shot to have. But then he got out to playing a similar shot as well. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you can fall prey to your favorite shot also.
True. Very true.
All right, we spoke about all the young talent in Peshawar Zalmi. Now, Abdul Samad is also a refreshing talent from Peshawar Zalmi that we've seen. He did well in domestic, he scored a lot of runs, and he was on top today. Time to have a look at some of his boundaries.
What you want is the engine room to be firing, and that's probably, 5, 6, 7 to be able to strike the ball the way that Abdul Samad did. He was actually playing with the bowlers at one point, hitting a 4, then coming on the inside, going to fine leg. Exceptional striking.
Well, Zalmi's managed to kickstart their campaign, which is exactly what they would have wanted. But Multan Sultans, now, how do you turn this around for them? Because it's not been the greatest of starts for them. Maybe if they do end up playing in Multan, which is their home ground, we can hope for something better, Ramiz.
Yeah, I mean, they're waiting to reach Multan and play solid cricket in front of home crowds. I think at the toss, Rizwan did mention that they're feeling the pressure as well. I'm not too sure whether that's the right way of approaching HBL PSL, because you'll have your days. You go up, you go down, you can regain form very quickly in T20 cricket. But we've seen so many matches in this year's HBL PSL where if you get a 200, the other team doesn't arrive, it seems, at the ground. You know, they just nosedive completely in a matter of few overs. So there's got to be a better technique, a more methodical approach of approaching a 200 target. And I was expecting actually Multan Sultans to make a fist of things, but I mean they faltered too badly.
And it almost seems, Lisa, that they're trying to get those runs in just the power play itself. Yeah. They're forgetting that they're 20 overs instead of what we've seen so far. So clearly the approach of these sides needs to change. We saw that last year, that there were some brilliant chases, but not to be this year.
Yeah, and each team and each players will be quite different. I guess for me, I used to kind of like a target. And I know sometimes I'd pass the target with my partner or not, or maybe just under, but at least gives you something to work towards instead of trying to reach that 200 plus. Let's break it down into small kind of overs, and what can we do? You touched on Multan going home, 80% win record since 21 there, and 50-odd% away, which you kind of expect. You should know your home facilities. And Multan Sultan last year started off with 2 games at home, and they won both of those. So it makes a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing that they're not doing well is that getting out after getting a 20 or a good-looking 40. So when you've got a 40, you've got to then finish the game. Absolutely. If you get a 20 of 20 balls, I'm talking of sheer hope, then you've got to continue, because, you kind of messed up the innings in a way by absorbing 20 balls, because in 20 balls you're supposed to get a 50 these days. But if you've spent time out there, then make it count. The tailenders, they don't put up a fight. And this has been happening far too often, not only here, but in the Pakistan cricket team as well. So 5 wickets down, and suddenly we're staring at defeat because the tailenders just give up. And some of the shot selection has been pretty ordinary as well. From 5 wickets down, you see that it's going to go haywire immediately within a span of 2 or 3 overs.
All right, let's see where Multan Sultan stands now after these defeats that we've seen. And Peshawar Zalmi, I'm sure, has moved up. They have got those 2 points as we're hoping. But Multan Sultans have played 3, they've lost all their games. And like Ramiz rightly pointed out, Mohammad Rizwan feeling the pressure. Remember, it's the top 4 teams that will be qualifying. So every game, every single game in the HBL PSL is important. This is what we have coming up for you tomorrow as the action continues. that you have. Islamabad United, well led by Shadab Khan. He seems to be in the form of his life because he's been bowling really well. He's been leading the side really well. And Islamabad United, Ramiz, seem to know how to make things work.
Yeah, I think it's a great spread. And there's clarity of roles as well. Shadab is bowling well. I think they'll need his bowling. His captaincy has been outstanding, so he has been making changes. They've been changing the playing 11 also, which is great. That just shows that they are a confident unit. And now I think the real challenge is how well are they organized as a unit defeating Karachi Kings in Karachi. This was their home territory, and they knew the conditions so well. But let's see whether they are as formidable away from home.
Karachi Kings is also gaining rhythm and momentum just at the right time, Lisa, because they're a team who've generally, historically struggled in the past in the HBL PSL. But it's good to see that everybody who they've got in the team is now finally performing and delivering when it matters the most.
Yeah, probably the difference between the two teams right now is Karachi Kings still trying to figure out their best 11. Islamabad United know their best 11 and they'll actually pick the players based on conditions and the opposition, which is a great place to be. But I think there's still so much left in the Karachi Kings. I think they're almost like the X-factor side for me, or the West Indies team. You don't know which team's going to turn up, the one that can blow you off the park or one that may just falter a little bit. They've shown that already in the HBL PSL. But I think this will be a tough encounter for Islamabad United.
James Vince is also in the form of his life because...
Warner is half fired, by the way. So, I mean, when Lisa talks about the X factor, she obviously giving reference to Warner and what he can do on the day.
All right, later on today, as I said, the action continues. We won't be boring you with many off days. We'll keep you entertained as David Warner's men take on Shadab Khan's Islamabad United. All right, thank you so much for your time, and obviously that's pretty much it for now from Pindi. There's going to be a lot more action from Pindi, but Karachi is where tomorrow's game is going to be played. The home side is going to be in action, so I'm sure all of you in Karachi are going to turn up in huge numbers to support the side. It's been brilliant watching all the cricket here in Pindi, and I'm sure you've enjoyed today's coverage. Until next time, it's goodbye.